Racing on Sunday takes place out at Turffontein. We are racing on the Standside track. 8 races on the program, and the headliner is the Sea Cottage Stakes, a Grade 3, where they race for a gross stake of 250,000 rand. It is the day, the race meeting after the big one, the Hollywoodbets Durbanville, and we'll either be counting our cash or we'll be sulking faces. But hopefully we're counting cash and we can improve and get more cash on Sunday. And joining me on the line is Alistair Cohen. Alistair, how are you doing?
Yeah, good. Thanks, Raheel. Good day to all the viewers, all the listeners. Weirdly, the day after the Hollywoodbets Durbanville generally produces big pools. A lot of people just, excuse the pun, ride the wave and use the momentum from the big betting bonanza of the Hollywoodbets Durbanville into the day after sort of Boxing Day of South African horse racing. So, yeah, and also traditionally, and this card is exactly the same, traditionally this is a meeting that is used as a prep day for Gold Cup Day. I mean, you'll see Lucky Lad is running, a few other horses, some 2-year-olds that I'm sure have aspirations of travelling down to Durban for the end of the month for Gold Cup Day. So it's a nice sort of set-up meeting for a lot of class. Don't lose sight of this meeting because, as you say, you can bolster your pockets a little bit more on the back of Hollywoodbets Durbanville. Hopefully it doesn't happen, but if you do have a glum day, then maybe you can recover a little bit of this Turffontein meeting.
Well, race number 1 will be the start of the bipod, 25 past 12, 1,400 metres a trip. It's a juvenile plate for the fillies, and your favourite is Fiery Pegasus at 14-10. It's a 15-4 about Scars of War. It's then 9-2 World of Alice, 5-1 Miss Galetta, 12-1 and Better Bar those. Now, having a look at race number 1, Fiery Pegasus, she ran in the Alan Robertson behind Quid Pro Quo, beaten into 7th, and no doubt that the extra will suit her, but you've got fillies that I think will be very competitive, the likes of Scars of War and World of Alice.
I know World of Alice is a horse that's likely to come down to Hollywoodbets Greyville for Gold Cup Day in the Tigweni Filly Stakes. That's been Sean Terry's plot the whole way through for this daughter of One World. Sadly, at the time of recording, we don't have a gauge on how Quid Pro Quo and VJ's Angel go in the Golden Slipper. So that's a little bit of a worry. But by the time this race comes around, you will know how Quid Pro Quo and VJ's Angel go in the Grade 2 Golden Slipper with Gimmy's Countess and Little Ballerina and various other top fillies. My inkling is that you're right. Fiery Pegasus being a full sister to Shango. Shango won the Dingons and won the Splash Out 2200 when he was racing. Will appreciate the step up in distance, whereas World of Alice, I think, will be more effective over even further than 1400 metres, despite having a winning chance. Also, World of Alice is likely to tuck in because that seems her best way of racing, whereas Fiery Pegasus under Richard Furry from a bit of an awkward draw, I'd anticipate going forward. So I think on a quick track, the scales might be tilted towards number 3, Fiery Pegasus, over number 7, World of Alice, but they're both good quality fillies that I think have got plenty to come, and I'll probably open up the day with a nice swing at numbers 3 and 7, although you won't get rich, probably set you up for the PA, which is my suggested bet on the day, and even the pick 6, which I think many people will be testing the waters with.
Well, that's race number 1, 3 and 7, the two horses to perhaps play around. Race number 2, and this will be at 1 o'clock, the start of the place accumulator, 1,400 metres the distance. And in race number 2, Legend of Arthur is your favourite at 6-10. Mount Pinatubo is at 15-4. Xantha at 5-1. And then it's double figure odds about the balance. Now, this was Legend of Arthur. I really thought we'd see him on Hollywoodbets Durbanville in the golden horseshoe, but it's not to be. And perhaps he's going to wait for the Premier's Championship on Gold Cup Day for the 2 years over the mile. But this horse looks to be a serious racehorse. He's won his last 2 starts extremely well, and the manner in which he beat Mount Pinatubo at his last start, I mean, I can't see that form getting reversed.
No, I think he's a banker in all bets. I think he'll win. He's got everything in the right place. He's got all the class in the world. He is targeting a trip down to Gold Cup Day. I understand that Sean Terry was thinking about Hollywoodbets Durbanville, but is of the opinion that a mile at Hollywoodbets Greyville would be more to his liking than 1,400 metres. He might just be running on a little bit too late, the son of Lancaster Bomber. So I think this is probably the wise way of going about getting into the Grade 1 with a run under the belt and potentially with a confidence boosting win under of the belt. When you look around, Mount Pinatubo is the obvious danger, but as you say, he's got 5.5 lengths to turn around. I can't see him turning that form around, so I think number 1, Legend of Arthur, could even go down as the best bet of the weekend. I think he'll win, although he's prohibitive odds. He deserves to be that price. Banker in all bets, number 1, Legend of Arthur. I think he could be a very smart horse in the making.
He's a horse that I think we need to keep a very close eye on moving forward, and we expect him to win on Sunday. Moving along to race number 3, 13:35, the start of the pick 6, 1600 meters is the distance. It's a maiden plate that will get the pick 6 rolling. And when we have a look at the market for race number 3, Pan in Gold is your favorite at 11-10, 5-2 Deception Pass, 7-1 about Kaminsky. It's then 10-1 and better bar those. Now, this horse, Pan in Gold, he's run second at his last 2 starts behind Gimme a Choice, and then last time out behind Muscaletta when taking on winners. Standside track ideal, and he has been gelded. Richard Fourie takes a ride, and if he doesn't just need that one run after gelding, I think he could be a hard horse to beat you.
Yeah, look, right here, that is a little bit of a worry. I mean, first things first, bar 3 horses, this is extremely shallow. There's not much going on here. So I think you got a bit of a free roll with 3 times the expense in the first leg of the pick 6 between numbers 1, 8, and 9. Pan in Gold, though, gelded, what's that, a day after his last run, and back 38 days after his last run. That's a bit soon. It's coming a little bit too quickly for me. So at 11-10, it might be a bit short. But with that said, if he won, I would hate to be out the pick 6. So he goes in, especially with Richard Fourie on board, who sticks with the Son of Heavenly Blue. I mean, he's run to Truth and Legend of Arthur. We know what Truth's all about. And Legend of Arthur, we're tipping as a good thing a race early and a candidate for a grade 1 at the end of the month. So all that stacks up favourably for number 9, Pan in Gold. But I'm just a little concerned that it's all happening a little bit too quickly for him. 8 Kaminsky steps up distance for the first time in his life to a mile, and he runs like he'll get the trip. Certainly on his last run to one party, the Gavin Arena now to over 4, Roy Magna's yard has come alive in the winter. Although he's by what a winter, Kaminsky looks like he's coming into his own and has got a little bit more progress to come. So he's a big player for me. And then number 1, Action Pass, although I've left him out the place accumulator, there's no way I'll leave him out of the pick 6. He's got every winning chance as well. I suppose punters can sort of pick and choose which way they want to go between the 3 horses, if they even need 2 horses in the PA and the bar pot. So leave that open-ended. Last run to Shinto Shrine puts him in front of Run River Run, who I suppose would have a smidgen of hope of getting into the top 3. I think that puts things into perspective that number 1, Deception Pass, by default should be there and thereabouts. Despite running in some fairly weak maidens and not being able to get the job done, that's why I've tipped him 3rd. That's
race number 3. Kaminsky could be some value at around 7-1 in the market, as opposed to the 11-10. About number 9, Pan in Gold, who is returning fairly quick after that gelding. Race number 4, maiden plate, fillies and mares, 1600 meters the distance, and this will be the start of Jackpot 1. Your favorite is number 6, Perform, 5-2, Rainbow River at 28-10, 9-2, Lady of Tibet, Ambitious Lady at 5-1, Calica at 7-1, and then it's double figure odds about the bottom 3. Now, Alistair, race number 4. It's a race that's not going to take a lot of winning. What have you done in the PA?
Did you say Perform is the favourite?
Yes, that's what the market has got. Perform at 5-2, a horse that has 21 starts in the maidens.
Wow, and she has run in some very ordinary races. Not that this is packed with class, but she's not in my reckoning. Number 6, Perform. She might run 4th. I like number 3, Calica here. There's definitely a bit of value about this daughter of Give Me the Green Light, and I'll tell you why. First of all, she goes over a trip that's bound to suit her. First time she tries a mile. Second of all, she's got an inside draw. Big positive. Third of all, 3rd run after quite a lengthy layoff. 4th. Her first run back wasn't a bad run behind Golden Moment, but she needed it, and she needed it badly. Then she had the worst of the draws over 1,200 meters on the Vaal Classic track. Although that wasn't a weak field, she didn't run badly either. She's bound to be near her best now, and I think in a race this shallow, number 3, Calica represents all the value in race number 4. I couldn't possibly banker her, so my backup comes in the form of number 1, Rainbow River, for an informed Diane Stinger. Trent Mayhew takes 2.5 kilos off the back, draw next to Calica, so that's a good place to be. She's just hinting that she's going to go close, if not winning. She's probably one of those fillies that when she gets the job done, she might win a couple more, but she probably isn't going to Hollywood. But I think number 1, Rainbow River, is alive. But I love the price about number 3, Kalikar. Down the page, I mean, I suppose the respect for number 7, Lady of Tibet, needs to be there, but I'd like to see her confirm that last run behind Two Step Queen. She was very well beaten by Two Step Queen, and I wouldn't recommend that being a world-class piece of form. So for me, I'm happy with 1 and 3, but I'm going to suggest, I actually think Kalikar can win this race, so I'd go with a medium-sized bet on Kalikar in race number 4 at the price.
Medium-sized bet, that's a new one there with number 3, Kalikar, around 7-1 in the market. And number 1, Rainbow River, well, perhaps 1 and 3, exact as box. It could be the way to play in race number 4, but perform at 5-2, definitely a filly that looks to be quite opposable in this contest, given that she has had plenty opportunities to get it right. Race number 5, a Pinnacle Stakes over 1,600 meters. 14:45 is the off time, and your favorite is William Ironarm at 12-10, 15-4 Give Me a Shot, 4-1 the Africa House, 7-1 Joker Man, and then it's double figure odds about the balance. Now, Pinnacle Stakes, and the best weighted column sees Give Me a Shot at the top, clear of William Ironarm, Eye of the Prophet, the Africa House, and Mercantor. This horse, William Ironarm, last time out, the blinkers clearly had an adverse effect. When he was 7th behind Green with Envy. It was a weird run from him, because he sort of went forward and then Calvin managed to get a grip onto him, and then there was all sort of it was just an ugly race, and we know exactly what happened in the race, Alistair. But back in this contest over a mile, he could certainly get back to winning ways, but he doesn't seem too reliable.
Yeah, he's definitely a player, because I think he's a good horse, William Ironarm. The only thing he didn't do in the Daily News 2000 was a U-turn. Otherwise, he tried every other trick in the book. So obviously the blinkers were taken off straight after the race, and probably never to be seen again by number 1, William Ironarm. And now they're putting on earmuffs. So let's see if that brings out the best of number 1, William Ironarm. I've got a few bankers on the card, because it looks like that type of card. I can't see the exotics paying an absolute fortune. This is the one banker that I'm a little bit ginger about. I think she'll run the first 3, hence she is a banker, and that's number 4, Give Me a Shot. You referred to the best weighted column, where she is £4 clear of Chasing Pack, and the Chasing Pack are good, considering we've got a Tab Gauteng Guineas winner in here, and also William Ironarm, who of course is placed in the Tab Gauteng Guineas. Maybe that's a bit of food for thought, that Eye of the Prophet might be coming back to best, but Give Me a Shot is a grade 2 winner over this course, since having won the Ipitombi Stakes as a 3-year-old. Craig Zaki takes around 4 the Aussies. I thought her last run to Double Grand Slam was good, because she stuck around the whole way, and being beaten by Double Grand Slam over 1,400 meters, there's no disgrace on that. 3.5 lengths behind, you could. She ought to have run a lot worse, and she sort of showed that she's back on track, this daughter of Give Me the Green Light. She did look like she lost her way a little bit. Cape Town was okay without ripping up any trees. So I think she's probably in a happy place now, number 4, Give Me a Shot. Also a 3rd run after a race, so there's enough to motivate her chances of at least running into the first 3. Joker Man now gets the services of Richard Ferree. He's on the up, the son of Verthingetrix. He's doing a lot right. This is his biggest test, but he could very well be up to the task, and I'd give him a winning chance. And then 1, William Ironarm, if he brings his best, he could be a very difficult nut to crack. And I think number 2, Eye of the Prophet, will be on the first 4 for the first time in a long time. So put him into your quartets. I probably haven't seen enough to row in with him as a winning chance, not yet anyway, number 2, Eye of the Prophet, and his rating's coming down steadily enough that a handicap might not be beyond the realms of possibility for him soon, number 2, Eye of the Prophet, but top 4 chance, put him into your quartets, maybe he can make things pay a little bit.
Give Me a Shot to the banker in the place accumulator for Alistair in race number 5. Moving along to race number 6. This will be a Pinnacle Stakes over the 1100 meter trip, and 3 is the off time. And in race number 6, we see Lucky Lad. He takes his place here after he tried a mile last time out, and it was not a great effort from him, but he had valid excuses that day. And I think that back to sprinting, I think it's a distance that Sean's going to keep him over for quite some time now, because he's clearly a top-class sprinter, Alistair. And 11-10 in the market, is he your top choice?
Oh, by miles. He's the best sprinter in the race by a long way. even though the best weighted column doesn't exactly agree with that, with all the youngsters and all the fillies in this race. But I think Lucky Lad, even though he's prepping for the Mercury Sprint, even though his last run, the Hollywoodbets Gold Challenge, was a mess. Look, Sean Terry's a world-class trainer. He's a better trainer than I'll ever be, but it didn't sit easily with me running a week after a very hard run in the Golden Horseshoe, where he's just got a tendency of getting himself out of trouble and beating at my command. But I think that took a little bit of the wind out of his sails, and a week later, he obviously stayed at Summerfelt for a week, and he just couldn't produce the same type of race. And I think now, after two completely poor runs over a mile, I think Sean's now probably resigned to the fact that he's just not going to win certainly not a grade 1 race over a mile, but we know his capabilities as a grade 1 sprinter. For me now, with Thunderstruck being retired, pound for pound the best sprinter in the race, and that's my motivation for making him an absolute banker. You know, Richard Furry made it clear that to see him in Joburg anytime soon, he would need a good book of rides, and he's got a very good book of rides with Legend of Arthur, Potter Ruby in the next race he will talk about, and why would he sort of slip up on Lucky Lad? He'd have to go and ride him. Their expectations are that he'll win, despite giving weight to the entire field. We saw Thunderstruck do a similar thing a few months ago, also giving a ton of weight to some accomplished sprinters, but just none as good as him. And the old cliche, you can give weight, but you can't give start. He might give a little bit of start, but he's earned the weight, and I think he'll win.
Yeah, his win in the Golden Horse Sprint was mind-blowing, absolutely mind-blowing, the way he managed to get up to beat At My Command, and that's certainly going to be a race that we watch in years to come. But Lucky Lad, the top choice, and the horse that they all need to set their sights on in race number 6. Race number 7, this will be the Tabber Sea Cottage Stakes over 1,800 meters. 15:55 is the off time, and here your favorite is horse number 1, Hot to Ruby, at 12-10. The second reserve for the Hollywoodbets Durbanville, but I think by now he'd be scratched from the race, Alistair. 5-2 about. Yeah, so Hot to Ruby's out, so he's definitely going to be taking his place on Sunday. It should all things go according to plan for him. Greeting My Master 15-2, Mastership 17-2, and then it's 8-1, rather 10-1 and better by those. Now, Hot to Ruby, what's your thoughts here? Can you have a lot of confidence in order to bank him?
In the PA he's a banker, but I couldn't have a bet on him at 12-10. He earned his rating being exposed in legs of the Triple Crown, where he went from a 98 to a 116, and justifiably so, running second to Sandringham, and then sort of confirming that, running 3 lengths to Purple Picture and 2.5 lengths to Purple Picture again in the Classic and Derby, respectively, and close up in the Colorado King, and not being disgraced in the Daily News 2000. There's absolutely no rhyme or reason to drop the horse. But has the handicapper stopped this horse from winning? He's the best horse in the race. I'm sure of that. Well, right now he is. I think Jordan's got a lot to come. But I don't know, it just doesn't sit well with me that winning doesn't come too easily. So he's a PA banker. If he doesn't run in the first 3, then we know he's nowhere near a 116, and the handicapper will be getting the calculator out and trying to work out which version of Hot Ruby we're going to rate. But yeah, from beating Fully Loaded in November to now being a 116 without getting a win under the belt, I mean, that's the chance that you take, obviously, if you want to chase, the big group races. I want to say something very premature and something ridiculous. I think Jordan's a huge Summer Cup horse. He's got all the attributes to go 2,000 meters and be a big danger in the Summer Cup at the end of the year, because he's by Silvano, he's maturing, he's definitely upwardly mobile. I don't think he liked Hollywoodbets Greyville 1 iota last time, but it was worth the chance. A galloping course like Turffontein, he could come into his own. So I think there could be a few troubles to come from Hot Ruby's stable companion. I think Jordan's alive here. Greeting My Master, if he was drawn better, I'd put him into the race, but I think that he'll eventually come into his own. He'll be dangerous in Joburg when he actually gets things in his favour. But what is interesting to me is that obviously the Halfelt put on these 3 races for the winter, during the winter, for the 3-year-olds. The form of the Agoli Mile is deadly. That was won by Mastership. Jury's outran second. The horse who ran fourth, Presley, comes third rather. Presley comes in here well weighted. He's in a better draw and got a lot more in his favour this time. Does number 3 Presley going a better trip as well. So I don't think that form line's one to completely ignore either, because all those horses are on the up, and horses that were well beaten have come out and won. Even Lamu Hull could get in here at a big price. It's a nice race to play a quartet. So what I'm saying is Hotter Ruby nailed on top three, and then your quartets, make sure he's your floater around, because I can't see him missing. But there's heaps of horses here, and a few at a price that I think can get into the top four and make things pay. I think it's an interesting race, and I don't think it's as straightforward as the markets and Hotter Ruby's form suggests.
I think this looks to be the race where the exotics are going to take a massive leap, and you're going to drop a lot of tickets here, and you're going to see the exotics go from paying very little. I think it's going to be worth something after race number 7, because Hotter Ruby, not sure if he's the greatest so-called good thing in this race here, but let's see how it goes. And you heard from Alistair his thoughts on Hotter Ruby, but he likes Jordan here at 10-1 in the market. Could represent tremendous value in race number 7, the Tab Sea Cottage Stakes. Race number 8, 4:30, 1160 meters. It's an MR 74 handicap. And in race 8, your favorite is Kotinos at 7-2, 4-1 Pendragon, 11-2 about Warm Winter Night, at 7-1 Risky Business, 8-1 and Better Bar those. Now, what have you done in the final leg of the place accumulator? It's an important leg, because it's another race where you can get a fairly useful result.
Yeah, you need horses here, Raheel, because this is the most tricky race on the card, with horses popping up left, right, and centre with chances. I've gone 4 horses in my place accumulator. They're 1, 3, 4, and 7. I'll go through them numerically. The fourth of my selections in that sort of pecking order is number 1, Kotinos, just because you can't rely on him. On a going day, Kotinos can look the part. He can look divisions better than a field of this nature, but on a bad day, he can completely drop the bundle and run no sort of race. So don't let him run loose. If you do have the budget to include him, but you could get anything for number 1, Kotinos. He can win by 5, and he can get beaten by 15. Number 3, John Wick, drawn towards the outside. Stevie Donahue takes the ride. I think this is alive. Since winning his maiden, he's been okay, but he's probably at the right type of place now to give things a good shake. Be cool to get Stevie Donahue into the number 1 box, because he's riding more and more places. All the guys overseas tell me that you've got an unbelievably good jockey in South Africa. All the Irish guys, they love Stevie, so would like to see him get into the number 1 box. I think number 4, Moonlight Trade, is the most interesting horse in the race. Not that we can be overly confident about this 2-year-old, but now we're seeing 2-year-olds come out against older horses, left, right, and centre, hammered by 2 top 2-year-old colts in the last 2 starts in the form of Truth and Legend of Arthur, but prior to that has good compelling form. So I think that he might sort of pop up on you now first run as a gelding drawn towards the outside. And number 7, After Hours, when the grass is brown. I love After Hours. I always put him in when the grass is brown, even though his last run was poor. His penultimate start was good. Depending on what After Hours pitches up, he could get right in there under Craig Zaki. And also not 100% sure about him running in a straight line at Turffontein, though. I think he's a little bit, he's a length or 2 better at the VAR. That's what I will say about number 7, After Hours.
Would you read into anything of Kotinos' format on the stand side track? 6 runs for 6 blanks.
Of course it's a worry, but that's Kotinos, because I think if you look at his form anywhere, where was the last place he won? If you look at the VAR, that was just a going day. I wouldn't read into too many stats with him, because if you look at his VAR form, he's probably got 1 excellent win and about 5 ordinary runs. That's just the nature of the beast with Kotinos. He can pop up at any time.
Yeah, he's a horse that clearly has ability. He's been running against stronger, and if he puts his best foot forward, well, then he'll be in the firing line in race number 8. But it does look to be a competitive race to wrap up proceedings on Sunday. We're going to move along to the suggested bet now, and Alistair will take us through his suggested bet, which is a place accumulator. Alistair, take it away.
And a nice cheap place accumulator as well. 16 Rand is all you'll need to spend for a full unit, or 160 Rand if Hollywoodbets Durbanville goes according to plan. Starts at 1 o'clock in race 2, banker number 1, Legend of Arthur, by 8 and 9, Kamensky and Pan in Gold, by 1 and 3, Rainbow River and Kalikar, like a bit of Kalikar there, by banker number 4, Give Me a Shot, by banker number 1, Lucky Lad, by banker number 1, Hotter Ruby, but I stress he's no pick 6 or jackpot banker as Hotter Ruby. And then the final leg, 1 Kotinos, 3 John Wick, 4 Moonlight Trader, and 7 After Hours.
Yeah, I think maybe just probably add Jordan to the race. Alistair has sold me on Jordan already, and and given me a few negatives with Hot to Ruby. So I think maybe we can add Jordan into that leg there where you've banked Hot to Ruby, because as I mentioned, that could be the race where you get the exotics paying a bit of a dividend. But Alistair, thank you very much. Looking forward to Saturday at Hollywoodbets Greyville, and hopefully all goes according to plan, and everything on Sunday can arrive for the guys, especially the short-priced horses that we've gone for. And yeah, looking forward to the weekend's racing.
Yeah, it's a long haul. It's a great weekend. It's everything that a South African racing fan looks forward to. So, yep, may Saturday be everything that you need it to be. And, well, the follow-through on Sunday, there we go. More opportunity. That's the beauty about this game.
All the best with racing on Turffontein on Sunday.